my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white. Yeah, it's black and white. We're just black and white. It's my black and white. It's my black and white scarf.
Yes, it's my head again. After seeing enough of it last night, I'm back again. It is season 6, episode 6. Unfortunately, we're in after a 4-0 defeat on the road to Pats last night. Go through the game. I'm joined by Gally. How are you, babe?
Good morning, Christopher Brian Sensation Clark.
Yeah, it's a bit different. I suppose right off the bat, I better address the old elephant in the room. So look, last night, an unfortunate clip did go out last night of a conversation between Kevin Doherty and pretty much myself, just having a bit of banter back and forth like we normally would between Dundalk and Drogheda. Obviously that clip was not meant to go out. And I'm sure there'll be a look into how it did go, but just want to address that's pretty much what happened. And me and him would normally have a bit of crack back and forth with each other, and for whatever reason, Kevin's side of it did go out live last night. Back to more important matters.
Takes a deep breath and starts the podcast.
4-0 defeat on the road last night, Gally. It's probably something, speaking to Kieran, listening back to Kieran's post-match conversation last night, it sounded like something that was kind of coming. He felt maybe just too many games in a short space of time. It kind of catches up with you. When you look back on it now the next day, what's your thoughts on the defeat?
Yeah, I'm not used to having, we're not used to having a 12 or 13-hour window between podcasts. It's very rare. Yeah, look, you're disappointed with how it reads, I suppose. Look, Pats are excellent setup, and that's what you're going to be. They're probably not even on their day. They're probably the third best team in the league, really. But that's what you're going to be up against. And without trying to put me, I try to keep, obviously we're Dundalk fans. We don't want to go to too biased, but I actually don't think we were that bad. I think we're probably tired, fatigued maybe later on. But I think the 4-0, it doesn't flatter Pats. Pats were excellent. Held a 4-0, probably could have been 5. But we've had chances as well. I mean, a 9 save from Kenny, just that's the big one. Like, look at it, I would have only given us the 1 goal, but I mean, if he had got that in, it might have been a bit of a difference even towards half time. But you could tell I was texting John Cooney, a guy that's involved in Castle of Wales, and his daughter plays, he's a Pats fan, and even after 2-0, you could see that just there was nothing, there was no goal back then. There was no kind of, yes, Dundalk might have got a goal, but Pats just kind of took control of it. But I do think the scoreline, although Pats are worth every goal they got, if you look at the play of it and how we had plenty of the ball, we had a couple of chances, 1 or 2 passes different, we're probably in once or twice more, but like Kieran said, it's a lot of football over a couple of days. Yeah, it's a lot of stress for the lads. I mean, you're coming up a level. No matter who you've signed, you're coming up a level. Kieran's coming up a level, the coach as well. So is Ken, the staff. So eventually it's going to catch up with you. You're 3 games in. You're only a couple of weeks into the league. You'd like to think now that's kind of your one major blip for this block of matches. But that's what we're going to face. That's. It's going to be one of those seasons where we just have to beat the teams around us. That's what we are. We can't be, we can't be too disappointed that we're going to be out by the likes of maybe Pats or Rovers later on, or a Bows down the line. We just kind of, you have to. Although we signed very, very good players, we've got a good structure. The boys play on the front first. They're attacking. They're not afraid to play. And maybe just tiredness over the last couple of weeks has caught them out last night. We get if you break out in every goal. There was almost a fatigue even going for the first goal. The ball seemed to sit in the box forever, and Pats had 3 chances to score. And it's early in the game, so there probably should be no excuse for fatigue either. But I just think maybe it's a lot of pressure over the last couple of weeks, and that's what I'm going to, as a Dundalk fan, that's what I'm going to put it down to. But I don't think we were the worst end of a 4-0 defeat the way it reads. I think the lads done well. But look, there's plenty of football to go. We're only a couple of games into the season, and this is another level what the boys are dealing with.
Yeah, like if you look at even the first 20 minutes before the opening goal. Like, it's pretty helter-skelter.
Yeah.
Cornwall with a good header from a corner kick. It's saved down low at his near post by Anang. Kind of goes back up the other way. There's shots from Keane Levy, James Brown, Horgan adds another shot. So you're kind of looking at this end-to-end game saying this is insanely open. This could be an absolute gold fest in the way it's going. But it like you say, you're looking at that tempo and everything else that's going on. You're kind of worried that it's probably unsustainable when you've just played Monday night and then you're into a high tempo match like that. You get worried that you're going to come out the wrong side of it. And like you say, when that goal comes, Aid's kind of pickpocketed with the ball, ball falls back out again, and you're thinking the most disappointing thing is after Palmer's shot is saved, we kind of had 2-3 times opportunities to clear this ball and we didn't.
Yeah, that's the frustrating bit.
And I think you don't get a fourth chance to clear a ball in this division, and we paid the ultimate price then. Yeah,
and that you're talking about, and we're not. You don't want to be. You're not being disrespectful to the first division. Like, I saw goals last night for Finn Harps. It seemed to take forever to go in as well, but the defending was, similar. It's just a wee bit slow. Whereas you can't afford that here. You can't afford to be like these lads are like. I don't get me wrong, the full-time professionals everywhere, but these are full-time invested in this game. Like, Stephen Kenny team are set up. You know who they're going to play. You know what they're going to be at. They're not going to give chances up easily. They're going to attack every 50-50 they want in their favour. But for the first goal, you don't look. And like you said, the first 20 minutes have been fine. It's like I expected goals. The first, it was plenty of goals. We just didn't get any of them. But I kind of predicted maybe a 2-2, something like that. But if you just even just the first goal, let's talk about Forrester later on and go to the score. But Leon Levy had run amok, absolutely run amok. James Brown down the right hand side, a full back of units in there as well. But if you take it just a goal out of context, it just seemed to be a wee bit almost first division. And I don't mean that to be slight on first division, but you can't afford to step out so slow. And it just seemed to be. Maybe because we're the defending team, it seemed to just take an age to clear that ball or even attempt to clear it. And we did clear. We had chance to clear it. We didn't do it too well. And the lads have if we save the shot that goes in on goal, it probably bounced out again and we're still not clearing it. It could have been in there for 20 minutes. We just didn't. Nobody seemed to.
Was it disappointed that we all ran to the line and not to close down the ball? Then maybe.
Yeah, close the ball. Like Jesus, like close the shoot off. No shots. I mean, it's old school, but close the cross, close the shooter down. Yeah, it's frustrating, and that's probably something they look back and not so much they conceded the goal. It's how you concede. Look, any team.
Yeah.
Like if you're conceding screamers, there's not a lot you can do about it. But when you're conceding slack, that's a slack goal to give away. And I don't think. I think just the way the team is, maybe at the minute, it doesn't matter. I think who's in there, or who's in the box. I think it's just one of them games where Pats were kind of really at it. And look, the word of the day is probably fatigue. Mental fatigue as well. I don't know, especially after, we draw it last week as well. We went on Oriel Park, and it's just a wee bit lackluster from them. Considering, like you say, the first 20 minutes, like you said, it looked like it could be. Look, we could be in for a bit of a game here. And in fairness, it was a decent match. Pats probably went to get the 3. It's a 9-8, but I mean, even a 2-0, I felt were really at it. When they're that clinical up top, we don't seem to really want to get back into it. And it didn't look like we ever were. I mean, Kenny's had a chance that's, God, if it goes in, you're probably looking up. I don't know how many goals we'll score like that all season, but that's one of the top 10 goals already straight at the gate.
But do you think so? Like the 5 minutes after conceding that first goal, like we're trying to get ourselves back in the game, but the game looks so stretched. Like it's going from one end to the other real quickly. There's some good blocks from ourselves. As I said. You're talking about Keane Levy and James Brown down the side. They're overlapping and they're doing extremely well together. It seemed like the game was extremely open. And like I say, you're talking about chances getting back in it. So when the second goal comes along 5 minutes later from another corner, unfortunately, another set piece that we've conceded from, much like Monday night, that's going to be real disappointed because you're probably thinking, 1-0, you're still in it, keep it there. Exactly like how the game in Tallaght Stadium played out on Monday night. You're just trying to hold yourself into there and, not concede that second goal and stay in this game. but then Sean Hoare comes back to bite us and scores at the near post. The corner just before that, they try to swing it into the back post. Cairns comes out and collects. So clearly, they obviously it was from a different side and a different taker, but had seen that the Cairns is going to come out and collect this. So puts it in towards the front post this time. And much like Lopez goal on Monday night, a glancing header in at the front post all the way around to the back. And unfortunately, we'll be beaten by the same goal 2 games in a row, which is really disappointing.
Yeah, and that's what annoyed. Like, I don't think these boys are going to get the likes of Kieran. Like, I don't think they're going to get too annoyed. Look, obviously you're annoyed with results, but it's how the results are coming about how you're performing, and they seem to be really clued into. It's the performance. Yes, you'll take a 1-0, win anywhere. But I mean, these lads are now playing at the highest level and next step to international level in the country. But they'd be disappointed in how they're doing it. They'd be disappointed in how they're conceding. Especially going up to, look, let's not, Stephen Kenny has a massive connection with Dundalk football clubs. If you're going up to Dublin one night to play, especially with Owen Kenny and our team, that's the team you're looking to beat. You're looking to get one over the old boss, and he's looking probably to get one over on Dundalk as well. But it's disappointing. But yeah, look, it's hard to complain too much because at the end of the day, we're back in Premier Division football, and this is what they're just going to have to deal with. You're going to deal with the top goalkeepers from the shot from Kenny. You're going to deal with top defenders. You're just going to have to bed in. You can't make, just go back to the first goal. If Conor Kell pulls off a great save and the player running in, but if you're going back to simple stuff, if they haven't got to get that ball in one for feet. It's very rare we'd have a go with anybody individual on the podcast, but just for that moment alone. But then after that, he gets into the game and you're playing much better, but you can't afford mistakes like that because they will be punished. Even the defending for the third goal as well, they've had shots, and it's only after the break as well. And
2 minutes into the game,
it gives you no chance, and especially you've just had the Kenny chance literally the minute before half time, and there's days, and it's so cliche, you don't really want the half. Then you wouldn't like another couple of minutes, after the Kenny chance, it became a corner and things like that. But yeah, that's something they're just going to have to get used to. To just this is going to be, they're going to pepper your goals, and it's probably skipping on a wee bit now, but. A Ruby's chance as well, point blank. Hawk can cross it in, and he's his first division football is in the back of the net, and Angs had a great save again. That's a 3-0, I suppose. So it's probably a hoping against all hopes there, but it's not like we didn't have chances, and that's the lads will take the positives from that. But again, how we're conceding goals, and look, we're pigeonholing this into one game. We've been excellent so far this season, so you're hoping you just dust yourself off and go again. And we were one clear off the line as well,
I think it's off the post from Mullins' header. It looks like, and that's I have it down here. Probably 4 minutes that really turned the game. So we're 2-0 down, like you said, and Owen Kenny cuts inside 2-3 players. Unbelievable save by Anang, and you're thinking he put it in the one spot where you'd want to hit it. Hits it pretty sweet. Super save by the keeper, and they get to go in 2-0 at half time. And as I say, it could have been 2-1. It's a bit more nervy for them. You're probably thinking the game plan's exactly like Tallaght Stadium. You're keeping it back to one goal, and you see how long you can hang in this game. But we don't, unfortunately, get to take that chance. 2 minutes into the second half, we go and we concede again. Once again, it's Keane Levy's kind of running riot a bit. There's shots blocked. There's people putting their bodies on the line. But
and in fairness, they've blocked
it's so
the first
unfortunate. Every second ball is just falling to one of their players.
That's it. Yeah, like they've done. They've done what they've. To go against me first point, they have blocked the shot, but then they're in a straight line. You can see it if you watch it back. They've left a gap, a perfect gap that the goalkeeper can't see it. The player almost, because I think it's Cornwall and I don't know if it's Warren that's in front of him or Wilson. I can't remember who.
I think it's Wilson that side, is it?
Wilson didn't tackle it. And the keeper's down the eye line of the two.
No, it's probably Bobby Burns because Tyree.
It could be, yeah. And it just leaves that space. Like the only place he probably can score is that side. Yeah. And most people kind of try and whip it round and bend, but that's the cleverness of the players apart. That's what Stephen Kenny has signed. But again, look, we have blocked the cross, but then as luck would have it, your second ball again, we're not clued in. Cornwall's kind of slows down and stands beside him, and it just goes in the bottom corner. And he's left. It looks really tight, but when you look at it probably from behind the goal, he's probably left 3 or 4 foot there for the shot to go in. And you're not going to get away with that in Premier Division. That's just the way it is. Like we used to do that. We used to punish teams like that, and that's something we're just going to have to bed in and dig in and put up with. I suppose that's probably the best way of putting it.
Like I said, it's disappointing. You think you're doing the right thing, and just if it wasn't for bad luck, you'd have no luck sort of a moment for a lot of these goals. They were putting blocks in, but unfortunately, it's the second, third phase that's killing us on some of these opportunities.
And even if you look at Pats have probably had one extra chance apart from the goals, one really good chance. There's not really, it's not like they've had 47 chances and they've probably been the better team overall. There's no doubt about it. But they've taken what the chances that were given, and we haven't had any luck whatsoever. Anything that we blocked has fallen to them, and that you get that when you're especially when you're 2-0 up in the game, you're going to get that. And you're talking, I think it's around the 50th minute, 55th minute. I can't remember the minutes. A Ruby's chance as well.
Yeah,
their chance.
Even if
it is 3-0, it's a great run from Horgan. We drop square ball in, and he's an acre. He could have took a touch. I don't think he realised how much time he has. Now look, he doesn't have a lot of time, but when you watch it back, he could have actually took a touch and set himself, but he's gone first time as most strikers would. And it's a great save again. Nines did a great game. But he's only been put to work. I think that Darrell Horgan really had a chance before half time as well. It's a slow pass it's a slow shot into the corner. But you've got to take them chances. Like Kenny's chance you can forgive because it's a masterclass.
But if you take in the Kenny chance, a Ruby's chance, of course, Danny Mullen off the post. Yeah. This is all before the fourth goal. Like you're right back in it if you took those chances. Like exactly. It's not a game. It's a 4-0 defeat, but it's probably not a game where we were whitewashed off the pitch or anything.
And then you even speak about a Ruby's chance. The defender clears it. I can't even remember his name. His name's escaped me. He's got hair like James Brown, but it's not James Brown. It's the other fellow. That's a block from him. What's it?
Was it Gravosti on at that stage?
I'm not sure. This boy started the game at centre back, I think, or left back. Tall guy, can't remember his name. Anyway, don't need to know, dog fans. But like again, he's blocked it off and they've cleared it. Whereas when we're blocking them off, it's falling back to a Pats player and they're scoring, and that's just a bit of luck. Individual brilliance and all aside, that's just a bit of luck you have on the night. And you just gotta, you miss them chances and you.
Do you reckon my head who that is a Bagley or someone?
Yeah, it's going to annoy me who he was.
You've got me now.
But even at 3-1, if that goes in, there's a bit in the game. You still got the guts of 40 minutes left. So if that goes in, I know it's 3-1 down, but I mean, it changes a bit of perspective that you can score, change the mentality of the boys. Right, we have a goal here. Can we get another one, make it a dodgy last few minutes? But look, that's, when you're playing at that level, you've got the likes of Aidan Keena there taking shots late on in the game from distance. If they're doing that, they're comfortable, and that's not really where you want to be.
Probably from a Pat's point of view, if you wanted an ideal scenario to be able to bring Aidan Keena in, and I know Chris Forrester came on late into the first half, but it's with a lead like that and let them coast it. You could see, Chris Forrester was finding those little pockets of space, trying to tee himself up for some volleys and stuff in the second half.
Player, like an absolute, what an absolute. Imagine bringing that off the bench, like an absolute baller, top class. And look, and like the team, they're a very, very accomplished team. James Brown. We spoke with James Brown as well.
Yeah. When he was a Drogheda, he was immense.
What a player! But look, it's Kenny ball all the time. If anybody's used to it, it's Kieran Kilduff. And I genuinely don't think we'll be too annoyed over it. I really don't, because the chances are there. On another night, we probably wouldn't.
I think if we weren't creating chances and capitulating in games, you'd be more annoyed. Yeah. I think you possibly could have had, you could have had maybe a defeat or whatever in Tala or something like that. And if you got a draw here, how would you feel? You're kind of on it at the same time. So I think they'll probably take the positives from the first three matches, and the positives from last night is probably that we were creating chances and we had to go. We just need to be maybe more clinical, or we need to, smarten up how we react to situations and second and third phases in those situations. It's probably the bits, like you say, maybe it's a bit of a difference in divisions and that sometimes as well, but we have signed players and players have played in the Premier Division before and know that standard, and that's just, it's just one of those games. Like I said, if it wasn't for bad luck, you'd have no luck. And once again, that happens for the fourth goal as well. It's another shot blocked from Levy, and he just kind of looks up and sees, initially, we're high up pressing again, trying to work a ball into the box. Pass gets cut out by Horgan's pass gets cut out by Keena, who probably runs 30 yards with the ball. We think we've done enough to kind of block him off, lays it off to Levy. That shot's blocked, and then Levy just kind of rolls it back to Aidan Keena, who takes his first time chance. It's a breakaway goal, but only because we're not happy with being defeated 3-0. You know, we're still pressing in that game, trying to get something out of it. And that's, you'd like to think hopefully later in the season and against other teams and on another night that counts for you and you can get something out of it. But unfortunately, it's one of them where it came back to bite us. We're caught somewhat on the break, and it puts the gloss on a good night, probably for Pats, and it looked like, you know, that we took a thumping, but it's probably not the story of the match. Actually, it was just about being more clinical when it comes down to it, and the Pats players took their chances better than we did on the night. Probably like a 3-2 or something was probably a fairer result on the night. But you know, you don't get to pick and choose your results, and that's what the football gods dealt us on the night, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we keep going back to it, and you know, at this, like, when you come up to the Premier Division, and look, we're used to the Premier Division. We've won it, you know, as many times as I say on another team, but you know, we're new to it all. Like, Kieran Goldough's new to this. Yes, he's Premier Division, the women's game, and he's first division here, but you know, when you make that step up, and in fairness, look, if we go really into it, we've a squad there that's a Premier Division squad. I mean, we have players there that are more than capable of playing at multiple squads. Where we've been through a couple of years there, our boys are coming in on loan, and you know, Stephen O'Donnell, we're like, these boys just aren't us cut out. And like, you look at, even I didn't even mention the ball into Darrell and Rowan Tynan last night. These players are up and coming, but the quality, you know, Warren as well. These are all Premier Division quality.
To be fair to Harvey Warren, like, he pretty much, you know, had his first start on Monday night in Tallaght Stadium because he had to serve a suspension, and then is thrown into 2 games in a week right from the start. Like, and I thought he did it, you know.
Exactly.
I just comments in there on the Instagram, you know, talk about Harvey Warren putting himself on the line, you know, throwing himself in front of balls where he could and stuff like that last night as well. Like, so to be fair, players have had to come in and hit the ground running.
Yeah, and to come in, like, you know, to hit the ground running, that's it. Because come in, like, at this level as well. Like, I think even we were looking at the first couple of games in preseason, we almost forgot he was there. You know, forget he's got to be introduced back into the team, and he's been thrown back in because of what happened the other night with Vinny. And you know, again, coming in, you wouldn't say fresh because you haven't been playing, so you're not really fresh. You're fresh to the lineup. You're not really fresh to the, you know, match fitness maybe. But again, you know, the signings that the lads have made, like Warren, like Bones, who probably didn't have the greatest times. Considering what he's done last week, but Tariq Wilson, these type of players, these are all Premier Division quality. You can see it, and it's just mad. It's going to take us. It's going to take us a couple of games. Like, I always say, the first round of fixtures are crucial. You're going to have those first round of games are always going to be a half a dozen 7 games in, and if we're still, like, we probably put myself up for trial here, but we probably won't have another 4-0 the rest of the year. God, I'm going to regret saying that.
Well, hopefully not. Yeah,
20 past 1 on a Saturday. Write down the date there quick. But a 4-0 where we haven't created anything. So, like, we might get a 4-0 where we're just absolute muck, but we weren't. You know, like, the chances were there. On another night, it's a tighter game. But look, at that level, you know, Stephen Kenny's team, you know, it's not ideal. Brian Garland as well, great. It's like the Dundalk bench in a Pat's grass, really, when you look at the bench. Graham Bones there as well. But that's just something that I honestly don't think they can be doing night over. Yes, as a coach, you're going to night the result as it reads, but performance-wise, I don't think we've too much to be given out of it. I really don't. The lads will come better for it. You know, we move on next Friday night away game, and then we're back. Is it Galway, Waterford? Is it? So they're two decent.
I think probably the next few games in particular are probably key to what way your season's going to go. More than anything, I think you know, you're looking at your next run of fixtures is Galway away, Waterford at home, and then Sligo at home.
Yeah. So I mean, you're looking like
that's.
It's not, and look, at the end of the day, look at Waterford last night at Derry. Like I was waiting for I was waiting to text into Steph to remind him of the talking down he gave me over Lynch, the team and Lynch. But then when we all for the winning, but I'm glad he had me bread on it. But although yes, Premier Division opposition, they are the teams that we need to be focusing on. They're like even at this age, they are the teams you say, right, can we give them a game? Because there's always that natural gap of the Rovers, the Bows at the minute. Not so much Shelburne, maybe. Pats last night, Derry, although we played them already. But
if you look at it, like the three teams probably closest to us now are Galway, Galway above us, Waterford, and then Sligo, obviously. And you're probably saying that if you want to make sure you stay in this division, these are the crucial games, considering 2 out of those 3 games are at home as well.
Yeah.
The Waterford and Sligo one.
And that's probably when it all comes down to it, these are the teams that are going to be probably in and around us when we get into that kind of, late July, August time. That's probably what we're going to be looking at. I definitely won't be eating my words on that one. I don't think we're going to be chasing too many other teams, or they're going to be chasing anybody else. So it's kind of going to be in and around that kind of. I think Sligo of anybody could probably put a run together. They're a decent side, but I think that's who we're going
to be late in the latter part as well, though. When they because they tend to strengthen somewhat at the next window. They tend to get a couple of good players in, or there's an academy player that's hit the ground running, or something like they tend to have something that gives them that little boost and gives them a run on it. That's why it's probably so important that we do take something from these next few games, because as I say, they are crucial. And if you're looking if you're looking to make sure that you're not cut adrift of anything, you've got to be taking something in these games. Probably not. You probably couldn't ask for full points, but you're probably looking at like 5-6 points from those 3.
Well, I mean, if you consider the 2 home matches, I don't think this team would feel going to Galway. Galway, good setup. Jimmy Jones scored a great goal last night. But I mean, you wouldn't fear those teams. Obviously, look at a Caulfield team or a Galway team in general. They're a physical team, but they're quick as well. They're probably the only team last season that I caught a Premier Division game live on the old app, but I watched them a couple of times in the opposition were playing. But you're looking at the minimum you'd like. I suppose we've been really kind of 4, I suppose. But I mean, you don't like 6, ideally 6. That's what you're looking for. Not ideally. We're talking. We're only half as
well. If you got 5, if you got 1 victory and 2 draws, you're probably looking for a draw.
If you go unbeaten, you're last. But the home, I suppose you're going to be bad doing it away from home, but if you can win or 2 home games, it's not like you can forgive a defeat away either. But you got probably right, Chris. You're probably talking 5. Yeah, 5, if you can get 5 points undefeated, they're massive. These points now. These week 3 sections of game. These week game mini league, but this week games section that we have coming up. I think in probably 3 months' time we're going to be looking at God. They were vital. Games, provided they go first. We won't look at them again if we bet. But if they're that wee nugget of wins or points that we collect over the next 9 points, they could be vital for us going forward. And it's. I think
people are talking about that Sligo are struggling in attack since obviously Owen Elding has left there. They don't really have an attacker there on the Instagram comments coming in, but probably when you look between those 3 teams and ourselves, there's not a whole lot of players you'd pick that you'd want in this Dundalk squad, if you know what I mean. So it tells me there's not a whole lot between these teams. And that's probably why it's so key. Like I say, you can be damn sure, because we've seen this in patches last year with Kieran and Ken really getting these lads focused, in particular the Cove matches and stuff like that coming up, the Bray matches and that last year, picking a little section of games and really maximising like a couple of cup finals on this. And early on, just all the good work we've done on the victories at the start of the season, or the 3 draws, should I say, at the start of the season, to not have that victory, that's going to just be key. We need to get that win at some stage, and the earlier the better. And you would say these 3 matches coming up, it gives you probably one of your best opportunities to get that win. Now, I'm sure those other teams are probably thinking the exact same.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're sitting here in 3 weeks' time and we haven't gotten a win yet, then we can start saying, right, well, it wouldn't be alarm bells, but I mean, you'd like to think we could have grabbed the victory out of the games that are coming up, or the games that have gone as well. Because I mean, look, we were winning against Derry, we were winning against Drogheda, so they're going to be. You don't want them to come biting, back to bite you then in a couple of weeks when you haven't picked up any more points. But we really need to get at the very least, one win out of the next 3.
Yes.
Or people alarm bells will start going off, even at this early stage, because the question is where you're going to catch it up, because everybody's fit now, everybody's ready to go. I know we were banned last night, but everybody's ready to go, predominantly pretty much ready to go. So, later on in the season, we get injuries, if we get suspensions, we'll have more football under our belt, but as a team, it's vital to get off the ground over first kind of 6 to 9 games. So yeah, you're hoping for at least one victory, at least one over the next 3 matches.
I suppose it's another away game in Galway this weekend coming. Probably with the work that needs to be done on the pitch, that's not a bad thing. But unfortunately, that hampers, I suppose, our training processes and everything else too. So that work needs to be done. But you're really looking at that Waterford at home match, and you're hoping against hope that all goes ahead as scheduled. Yeah. Because, like I say, with 2 games back to back at home after that Galway fixture, Waterford and Sligo, you'd love to take the maximum points out of those, and that's probably your best opportunity. And you're just hoping there's not a scheduling issue, especially if I remember correctly, that's a Friday, Monday back to back as well, for a bank holiday weekend, and you've got 2 home matches in it. Like that's enough to get everyone into Mocara early and get a hell of an atmosphere.
So you're looking at between now and I think it's the 20th, just looking at the 20th of March. We've played 4 games. So it's there's plenty of football coming up, but albeit the 4th game is in Dalymount. But that's and then you've got a bit of a run there. You've Bows, Shelbourne away, and then Pats, and then Derry. So I mean, if you're ever going to if you want that wee window, that pocket of window for points now, get them now. Because I think Bows are going to surprise a few people this year. They're playing sensational.
I don't think they're surprising anyone though.
No, I mean, Jesus, apart from the kits been brutal. Them long sleeves just don't want. They're lucky training tops. But look, they're the next pocket of games, and then you're playing against the big boys. Then after that, if you can get something out of the next set,
especially the home fixtures against those teams, is what you're really targeting to get something out of. But you feel there's a mini competition, a knockout competition about
there generally always is. There generally always is. The last 2 or 3 seasons in Premier Division terms, there was always that wee mini league with us and the rest. And unfortunately, we came out to crop over at the end of 2024. But there's always that wee mini league for spots, and we haven't really had a cup run. We haven't had a major cup run, to interfere with that. Although I'll take one now. Back in the Premier Division, we'll have one now. We're due a trip. But we've kind of been fortunate in a way. But you'll see it probably by the April time when that comes around. You're going to see that you won't see a split, but you'll see, right, this is what we're dealing with. And that'll probably be in fair teams that we've, maybe the Drogheda, the Galways, definitely the Waterfords.
It's just about staying on the coattails right now. That's the key part. Yeah. Keep racking up the points. As I said, probably the victory is the most important thing to come. That we just go and we get that victory. Yeah. Whether we can do that on Friday on the road, brilliant. If not, you're looking at those 2 home fixtures back to back, and thinking that's your best opportunity there to go and do it. Where, like I say, we'll probably know. If you take out the scoreline tonight, you're thinking you're competitive. We've been competitive in every match so far, which is really, really encouraging, because there was at times in our relegation season that we just weren't competitive. We were talking about, lack of opportunities on goal and, taking chances when they came. And we held out a long time waiting for that Bows victory for the first win of the season, but we were getting whitewashed up in Derry. That ended up being, Stevie O'Donnell's last game in charge, but we weren't creating anything. Although this was a bad defeat last night, we definitely gave a good account of ourselves, just not on the scoreline. And I think what you're looking for now is you get the win, and you have to approach it. Kieran and Ken are going to definitely have these next few fixtures in their mind in training for the next wee while, and probably just, like you say, rile them up into that this is a mini league, and what can you get out of it. How you come out of those fixtures probably dictates where you're going for the rest of the season. You know, if it's going to be a relegation struggle, or can you get yourself into a little bit of safety higher up the division, and that way can you when you do pick up, like I say, results against the so-called bigger teams, it gives you more of a cushion.
That's it, yeah. Because what you don't want is, like you're saying, you don't want to go into them games needing maximum points. You know, you want to be not to be comfortable. You need to say, right, let's get at them, maybe get a draw. But if you're off the back of 3 shite games that's coming up, I'm happy to watch my language. I keep forgetting what all on at night here.
It's all right.
Disclaimer there, just be careful. You don't.
All right, Kevin had worse last night.
It's those games. It's those games you get your points, so you can go into the bigger matches.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's try and get a draw, because if you're chasing 3 points against teams like that, you're putting yourself under serious pressure. But yeah, look, it's we know after probably the next 6 games, the next 6 games really, because we really chalk and cheese angle to it. The next
that's us done then with the first round of fixtures too.
That's what
you're a quarter of the way through the season, and you should have a good gauge on where you are as a team. Look, Ali, we said we would jump on as we always do, never to leave a post-match chat kind of hanging in the ether. We make sure we always come in. So look, we've probably done it. We'll be back as always after the Galway match on Friday, and we'll be back.
It will be Friday. It won't be Saturday. It'll be Friday.
Yeah, we promise.
Sorry, Mark Carroll.
yeah, except poor Mark was sitting without it all last night. But look, as I say, we'll be back to all the usual. We'll be back to our man and match competition and everything else. Thank you everyone who's been commenting in. There's been loads on Instagram today and that. So yeah, look, I hope we've got through enough of your questions and put it to ourselves there as well. From it. As I said, we're probably going to a real crucial moment in the season now as well. So let's hope we're able to maximise what we can out of this and get ourselves into a good position. As I said, we'll be back on Friday night as per usual. So until then, come on to town.
My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black and white, it's my black and white, it's my black and white scarf.